Have you ever wondered how zoos and aquariums evacuate animals when natural disasters occur? In January, Los Angeles faced two major fires, the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire. Just 4 months before those fires, there were three other major wildfires that took place in Southern California, the bridge, airport, and line fires. The line fire began in Highland and quickly spread through the San Bernardino National Forest. It wound its way through the mountains, jumping to over 20,000 acres in 3 days and putting Big Bear directly in its path. The fire forced evacuations and put many residents on edge as they waited to see if they would have to evacuate the mountain community. As the fire burned and air quality worsened, staff at the Big Bear Alpine Zoo watched and waited to see what actions they would need to take for the roughly 100 animals in their care. But how do local zoos and aquariums prepare to evacuate the animals and marine life in their care, especially when they range in all shapes and sizes? The first step is being prepared. Zoos and aquariums are required both by the state and accrediting organizations to have an evacuation and safety plan laid out in case of emergency from extreme weather or other disasters. The Association of Zoos and Aquariums, a nonprofit independent accrediting institution, requires zoos to have detailed written plans and to run live drills throughout the year. The Aquarium of the Pacific, located on the coast of Long Beach, has about 18,000 specimens of about 750 species.
We always train and run drills for different emergencies, including fire, earthquake, tsunami. Most of the responses are pretty similar if it involves a loss of power or if there's a reason that we're going to lose some of the essential elements to keep the water cold.
The next step in evacuation preparedness is keeping eyes on the situation and knowing when to go.
I think big picture is that we have a responsibility to these animals and to the people that work at Aquarium of the Pacific to have a safe work environment and be prepared in the event of emergencies.
Like for many Southern California residents, Watch Duty has been a useful app for zookeepers to get timely updates as fire conditions change. Ultimately, when it came to the line fire, the air quality during the fire pushed the staff of the Big Bear Alpine Zoo to make a decision to evacuate their smaller animals and birds. In order to get most animals out of their habitat for evacuation, they're coaxed into portable tanks or carriers depending on their species. The zoo has several partners throughout Southern California that have space for its animals during an evacuation scenario. The staff was able to drive down in 4 vehicles with 50 animals to the Living Desert Zoo in Palm Desert. When it comes to larger and older animals such as grizzly and black bears, the employees generally have to sedate them, but at the Big Bear Zoo, they are working with the animals to get them to voluntarily enter transportation kennels using positive reinforcement training. Depending on the circumstances, they might not have the animals leave the facility, but rather move them to a safer area, as was the case with the Big Bear Alpine Zoo during the line fire. Larger animals like the zoo's 26-year-old grizzly bear siblings, Isla and Harley, were pulled into buildings in the back of their enclosures where the zoo had full electricity and was prepared with backup generators and air scrubbers. The Aquarium of the Pacific follows similar guidelines when it comes to evacuations. They also use tanks and specialized filtration systems to control oxygen levels that can be placed on larger trucks or vans to transport their marine life.
We have a number of different tanks that are designed for animal transport that can fit on the back of either one of our trucks or that could fit into a larger truck if it was a large animal. And we even have some specialized filtration that can be connected to those holding tanks so we can add oxygen and just make sure that the water parameters are just as ideal as they are here at the aquarium. In some instances, we use cranes to lift some of our animals, particularly our larger animals. We have a stingray that weighs about 400 pounds that would need the assistance of a crane to lift the stingray and the water out of its aquarium and into a holding area.
Visit the link in our bio to learn more about how the staff at Southern California zoos and aquariums prepare for emergencies.